and mute you guys. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for popping into week 5 of our Dreamers in Action team call. I get so fired up every time I get to see you guys, every time we have amazing guest speakers, and just get us together. You know, I think so many of us just like work at our cell phones and work on our computers, and it's just so fun to see our faces. Before I introduce our amazing guest speaker and we get into tonight's call, the first thing I want to do is just like celebrate the first 30 days of our 90-day action plan. Like, you guys have just been amazing. And today starts day 31 of the second burst, you know, and what an amazing week as we are getting ready to launch the new Amped products and the new Amp packs. And I saw this great post by Zach Slobin, he's another Start ambassador, that was talking about like in the 90-day game plan, like just remember why. Like, how did you feel coming out of Nashville? Like, why did you want to do this? And there's not a greater trainer in the company than Lindsay to really talk about like kind of staying focused and working through the 90-day game plan and just the culture of executives. So we've got tonight an amazing speaker, and I rarely do this. You guys know I do introductions based on how I know them, but some of these accolades, I was like so blown away. I'm like, I'm actually gonna read some of this. No, and she's like, don't, because I'm humble and modest, but I'm going to. So first of all, she's been doing isogenics for under 5 years, which is amazing. She's a retired optometrist and LASIK specialist to be able to do isogenics full time. Her husband is an anesthesiologist, also a part of Team Isogenics. They have 2 little kids. But some of these awards, you guys, this is like in a handful of years, let alone that she's an 8-star Crystal Executive, 8-star Golden Circle, Isogenics Millionaire. She was Start Ambassador, part of Start 1000, which is a 6-figure income earner, ages 18 to 35. She was a She was not a tart. She was a top Start income earner and numbered like in the top 10, you guys, 2017 and 2018. She had the Isogenics Shooting Star Award in 2016, 2017, Isogenics Rising Star in 2015, all since she began her career in 2014. So, I mean, when you just list this, if there's anyone you're going to learn from, like, she knows what she's doing. But I'll tell you, I love Lindsay's heart. Since the day I met her, she's the type of person that can just light up a room. She will help anybody, but she's also someone that like goes first. You know, she's full of integrity. She doesn't ask people to do things that she's not willing to do herself, whether it comes from fueling her body with the best nutrition, working out, being an amazing mama, crushing it at this business, and just really, really setting the bar for an amazing leader in our company. So I'm so excited to have you on here. And you guys, we've got just a couple questions, and then Lindsay's got some amazing tips for you on time management. But Lindsay, I would love for you to just share some of these girls and guys, your story. Like, just open it up with what life was like before, how you learned about it, if you were open right away, if you were resistant, how you made the change to build the business. Like, and you don't have to rush through it 30 seconds. Like, let them get to know you.
Thank you, Lauren. You're such a dear friend. And that was way too nice of an intro. Thank you. That just mortifies me, because you know that none of that, those bios don't come from your own hard work. They come from a phenomenal team and a lot of humans, both in your business, and my dog is being super annoying, and outside of your business, your family, your kids, your spouse. I mean, none of that happens alone and by accident. So I always get so embarrassed. But thank you. I feel extremely blessed this journey. I will start by, when I share my story, I like to say that Isogenics found me. I wasn't looking for anything when Isogenics came into my life, and I'm sure a lot of you can agree. And why I like to say that or point that out is just to remind us that some of your best customers, or maybe even your best business partners, are not actively looking for you, but we want to continue to seek them out. Laura Stevens is my best friend from college. Yes, I'm insanely blessed that she is my sponsor in Isogenics. But I wasn't interested in the beginning. I watched Laura, in fact, soar on this nutrition and in this business for 5 months before I was willing to try a shake. You guys, I was on a Whole30 paleo tirade when she started Isogenics, and I wanted nothing to do with the protein shake. And I had this conversation with someone earlier today. Do you guys use Marco Polo, the Marco Polo app? Yes, keep using it. It's the most phenomenal app you can have with your customers and your business partners who don't live near you. But she was saying, listen, like, I want my parents to start Isogenics so bad, but they're doing so well on the keto diet and they just don't think they need this. And I said, listen, When people are doing really well on a specific diet, you aren't going to easily interject isogenics into it. But the key is to be ready with your isogenics products the minute they're tired of the diet they're on, or the minute they stop the diet they're on and start to gain their weight back. Like, a person has to be open and ready to some degree before they're going to put isogenics in their body. And that was my story too. I wasn't open and ready. But one of my favorite parts of my story is I was fiercely supportive of Laura when she started Isogenics. And she called me and said she was going to do with it and run with it. You guys, I posted her Isogenics link on my Facebook wall and said, anybody looking for weight loss, you've got to talk to my best friend. She's found amazing products. You guys, this was 5 years ago when you were not posting Isogenics on your social media. Like, you were super secretive and elusive, and God bless her, she never said anything to me. I thought I was being super supportive. I always asked her how business went. I hosted an tasting party for her at Nike headquarters in Portland, Oregon, invited my friends. She came up from California. I wouldn't even sample the protein bar because I was on the Whole30. And I was not going to eat anything with sugar in it, but I sat there through her whole party. I was a very supportive friend, and I point that out because those are the people you should have in your life. And really, those are the only people you should have in your inner circle. Whether they drink your shakes or not, they should be that supportive of you. And just know that there are people in your life that are, and there are people out there that will be, and we don't need to worry about anybody else. But as luck would have it, 5 months later, I was tired of seeing her so happy and healthy, and I wanted that Kool-Aid. So I secretly ordered my 30-day system without telling my husband. You guys, my husband was a medical resident at the time, working really long hours. He was never home. And the only day of that 3-year residency, he showed up at home before me, got off work before I did, and that stupid box was on our porch. And we all know what that box says on all 4 sides. There's no keeping Isogenics a secret at that point. And I'll be honest, and he shares the story, he was really upset that I ordered it. He wanted me to return it. And I looked right at him and I said, I deserve to feel my best. I deserve to be healthy, and I contribute to this household income. I'm keeping it. And I know that one of our most common objections is, oh, my spouse said I can't. My husband said I can't. We've all heard that over and over again, right? I hope and encourage you to have further dialogue with that prospect when they say that you can arm them with the right words or the right conversations that hopefully they can have with their spouse to help them realize that this isn't just a gift for that person, it's a gift for the whole family. And don't ever let the conversation end there. Because if I would have just bowed out and listened to what Corey wanted, I never would have put these products in my body. So I think that's another just really important part of my story, that luck would have it. I felt sassy that day, and I told him no. Like most of us, 5 days in, I knew I'd never take these products out of my body. I started referring my staff and people that wanted to do what I was doing to Laura. And like any good sponsor and mentor, she enrolled those first few people by me. And with that, my fascination with residual income and earning extra money was lit. It did not take that much. And that's the other thing. Laura and I had lots of conversations about how I didn't need network marketing. I was seeing patients full time. I was in the LASIK sector doing pre and post ops and all the consults. And you would have thought we didn't need money, but you guys, we were drowning in school loan debt. We needed money just as much as the next person. And so be cautious of our assumptions and be cautious of professionals in your life. In fact, professionals who go to school for a long time really only go to school for a long time to hopefully make a lot of money someday. And especially healthcare professionals aren't paid what they're worth, that they're the people who want money the most. That those are the people you really want in your organization. So the rest is history. This journey has been an insane blessing. I did not start Isogenics with the intention to get out of my day job. But like some of you probably on this call, or like hopefully many of you might hope to be, I reached the pinnacle where I couldn't grow my Isogenics business anymore if I didn't have more hours to work my Isogenics business. And that's when I stepped away from private practice. Yes, I stay licensed. Yes, I help friends and family, but this has filled all of our wildest dreams, as I hope it has for each of you. And we're not stopping. I'm with Lauren. We're just on a mission to help as many people and families and moms and dads and men and women as we possibly can. So if any part of my story ever resonates with you or with a prospect in your life that you really have an affinity for, I'm always happy to help and share, whether it's paleo and Whole30 background or, a professional career in healthcare or a negative husband. I love getting to help. So please just pocket. I think that we have to be story collectors and just pocket that story in the back of your mind and know that you can always reach out. So thank you for allowing me to share that, but that's it in a nutshell, Ms. Lauren.
That's so awesome. And thank you for that. And you guys use the chat. I mean, feel free to ask some questions and I'll, ping into Lindsay or she can respond, or if there's like takeaways, I love it to be, super interactive. But thank you also for your heart. I told you she's amazing. She'll help anybody. And she means that with those parts of the story. I love too that you were just like, you weren't looking to replace your full-time job, but you were open to it. And I was like that too. And I think very few people, unless they're a professional network marketer or really educated on the industry, come into it saying, I want to do this full time, but it evolves. And I love that transparency. I love that you stood up to your husband. I also was a paleo Whole30 girl. Like, I'm not going to drink a shake at one point. So we're not alone with everything of that.
You drink your food. You're so hardwired. But I also think, circling back, everybody needs a side hustle. So not everybody wants to leave their career. But everybody needs and should desire a side hustle. And that's what we get to offer people. So we try not to scare people away with that. I left my career for this, but just, what would an extra few dollars a month do for you? And that's just always kind of my approach.
It's so true. And that part that you talked about with the medical professionals and the money, though, I mean, my enrolling sponsor, who does not build this business, but she saw it and she knew that she is a PA, a physician's assistant. I mean, she was buried in debt. My sister, who's one of like the top leaders on our team, she had a PhD from Stanford, or has a PhD from Stanford. She was almost $300K in student loan debt, almost $300K. I mean, she came out of grad school with a mortgage without a house, trying to make her way there. So
yeah.
It's so important for you to share that. Okay. So I wanted you to share a little bit about like, what was it when you finally like went for it, where it turned from supplemental income to, oh my gosh, I could really make money with this, and what that looked like being as busy as you were with a full-time private practice and 2 little kids.
Good. Great question. So I do believe you guys, the busiest people are the most productive. And I think after 5 years in this industry, I want just the busy. I want the achievers. I want those that can juggle a lot. Versus very, very complacent adults. And I don't say that to be mean, that's just a prototype. And people that are really busy and have accomplished school or accomplished degrees or accomplished careers, trades, even without school or without big student loans, those are the people that just really spark my interest and that we see time and time again do very well in network marketing. But I will tell you exactly what shifted gears. I had enrolled a few people. Laura got me to consultant, told me how to get to manager. And I was like, okay, here's the other key. Why I did those first couple steps was because Laura told me it would be really important to her. Laura made it very clear that like, well, this would help me. And I'm like, oh, well, if it will help you, okay. You can enroll those 2 people by me that I had referred to you, my 2 of my staff, because I was her last consultant to get to executive. I didn't know what I was doing at all. She just said it would help her and I wanted to help. So recognize you have lots of people in your life that are going to want to help you if you just say those few simple words. If you're running towards a rank advancement or a goal or a cycle count, just grandma, buy 10 bags of organic coffee for me, please. You drink it every morning. Like, it's amazing what people will do to help you. And that's all. I'm just like, oh, Laura, I'll help you. Sure. So I got to manager, had no idea what that meant, enrolled my husband because she told me to, didn't know what that meant. But I watched, and I can't remember how it came about, but we all know who Eric Worre is. I watched The Rise of the Entrepreneur, which now I feel like is archaic because it's a 5 or 6-year-old documentary. But show of hands, who has seen that? The Rise of the Entrepreneur by Eric Worre. Okay, so like if I can give you any homework or action items to do in this next week, it's to watch that. It's 60 minutes. A couple Isagenix people are profiled, but it's just entrepreneurs and network marketers. And they talk about this profession. And what I realized, literally my husband and I made it a date night because we never were home at the same time. And we put the kids to bed and sat on the couch and watched it. And I was just a puddle of tears at the end of this documentary because it was in that moment I realized absolutely anybody could do this. My risk was 0, which we say, but that's the moment I believed it. And they talk a little bit about retirement and passive and residual income in this documentary. My husband and I have 7 parents between both of us, divorces and remarriages. And they're all in that generation, born in the early 50s, where they literally can't afford to retire. It's just they didn't save. Social Security has changed. X, Y, and Z, they've all had respectable blue-collar careers, and they can't afford to retire. And I knew that I didn't want to be them. And I didn't want my kids to have to worry in the way that we worry about them. And that's what hit me the most. So that documentary, I buy those DVDs in bulk, and DVDs, that's the right word, right? We stream so much anymore, and I send them out to new business builders. You can stream it on Netflix, I'm almost certain. But that is the most powerful tool to me still to this day, even 5 years later, that captivated my mind and set that shift. And at that moment, Lauren, I'm like, I'm in. New Year's kickoff was coming off. It was a New Year's kickoff in Palm Springs. That would have been 2015. I threw caution to the wind, canceled 2 full days of patients, and got to the event because Laura told me to. And I wanted Laura's success. And so I just did. So to me, events were instilled in me from the very beginning. And I hope that each of you on this call have been to Celebration or New Year's Kickoff or both. But that's when I realized how big and the enormity of this company, what our co-founders and scientists really do, and all of the 6-figure income earners that grace that stage. Lauren, I'm sure you were up there with them. I just wanted to be them. And so the rest was history. So I would say watching a documentary, maybe listening to a couple podcasts, whatever that is in this day and age to build your belief in network marketing, and then getting to events would be the ultimate. So
that's awesome. And I just, along the way, like, I love the things you're sharing. I'm trying to type over here, but even that, like, your referrals, like, you wanted to help Laura, like, what an amazing job Laura did by just telling you that this was going to help her, asking for that. But I always tell people, like, don't enroll somebody else's referrals. If those who refer those people to you, you would not otherwise have known them. They are not yours. Give them to the referring sponsor. And to teach that, it opens up the vision. You know, it creates retention. And credit goes to where credit goes, I believe. And I know from all the way down from Janny and Betsy and Cindy and our team, we never, ever, ever take people's referrals. And I love that she did that. Yes. And you're just talking about how coachable you were. Like Laura said, get to an event. You went to an event, you know, like there was just certain things that you did. So I'm going to ask you one other question before I let you kind of get into your presentation on time. But I know that the Laura Stevens organization, but really I believe Janny and Cindy and Betsy and Tanya and Trudy, I mean, all of us cross-line, upline, downline cousins in our trees have a culture of executives. So talk a little bit about what that means for you guys, why you go for it, what motivates you, what maybe tips you have for people going executive, because I believe that is the starting line of our compensation plan, not the finish line. And I just love when other people share a little bit about this.
No, that's a great question. And it was the culture when I walked in. It was just it wasn't even get to director, you guys. It was get to executive. I mean, that's all that it was. And I know when you talk to Kelly Dickerhoff and Janny and some of these gals that have been in for longer than any of us on this call, there was no manager and director. The only stop was consultant and executive. So in some ways, I think that the ideation of manager and director kind of, you know, made people lose focus or switch gears. I mean, I have a million people in the director ditch. I think all of our titles would be like 3-star crystal executive if we could get out of that director holding pattern. But Laura had me draw it out, that roadmap to crystal executive. It has not changed in 5 years. It's the exact same sheet. And what she had me do was draw out like my dream team. And I know it sounds so cliche, but I still have people do that because 9 of my 10 first consultants were 9 of the first 10 that I wrote down on that roadmap. These are people that didn't even know I had even started Isogenics yet. I hadn't talked about it. I hadn't been loud about it. They were either my best friends, favorite humans, closest family, or people that I knew would be really good at this industry. So no, not all 9 are still actively building to this day. I mean, you're going to have a lot of changes in your organizations over the years. But they were 9 of my 10 first executives. So to me, that instilled in me the power of that roadmap. So I have every single people do that say they're interested in this compensation plan. I actually have a file at my desk that just has copies of that roadmap to executive in it. But it's showing people the money. And Laura showed me the money, and she showed me the steps all the way up to 3-star where you get $3,000 in bonuses, right? And at the time, I think you had to be executive to get all of those 1-star, 2-star, and 3-star bonuses. But at the end of the day, it was money on the table. And staying active executive is money on the table. I mean, the amount of hundreds of dollars we make each week by staying active executive simply from the cycle matches or the thousands a month in the leadership pools, I see people in my organization miss out on that every single week and every single month because they don't stay active executive. So furthermore, not only getting to executive, but building a culture of getting to 14 or 15 or 16 consultants for that security was huge. And building right and left evenly. I love how people try and like play the game, or I'm going to build one side because it's my weak leg and I've got this bomb team leg if you're fortunate enough to be in that position. I know many of us on this call aren't. X, Y, and Z, but it's just no, right, left, right, left, right, left. Keep people financially tied that need to be. All of your family, right? All of your, you know, Girl Scout troop moms, whatever. But it was that idea that like you simply build right to left. There's no other tricks to the trade is what we believe. I hope I'm not discounting more on what you've taught. But getting there and only getting there, and at that point at active executive, switching gears to building that business volume to get to 1-star and to get to 2-star. So we didn't try to intermix the goals. And honestly, I know you guys, our 5-cycle bonus is phenomenal, but that's not even really a topic of conversation I have with people. My only focus is executive for my team in that early beginning. And it's a lot of teaching people how to create consultants and sitting down with your new business partner and saying, like, 10 people that know 2 people that eat. We go to such work to overcomplicate this whole idea of executive. But I think the biggest key, Lauren, is working fast. I mean, you want to work fast. I mean, I've seen people hit executive over and over again in 45 days and 60 days, 30 days before anything starts to shift or any one person in that triad starts to go inactive. So I think speed is important when someone says they're interested in the business, and it's just drawing out that roadmap to Crystal Executive. Who on the call has done that at one point in time? Has anybody done roadmap? Awesome. And you can literally Google it. Like, I hope you guys know anything that you can find on Isagenix business. It's a whole lot quicker if you just Google it. And you can pull up all of those PDFs so quickly. I went on to build my husband to active executive. We cashed out on all his bonuses. And then every reset, Lauren, my dog, every reset I've rebuilt to executive. I haven't always hit the mark. I've gone to 8 or 9 consultants a couple times, but I feel like if my team is doing that, I need to be doing that as well. But it's also just proof that it's not that hard to get there. I think it's harder to stay there. And those of you on the call that have hit executive could probably agree. But in just getting there, I think that's our most important work you can do to create depth and long-term money in your organization.
I agree. And there's some things in here. I mean, and I can tell, like, our mentorship, like, even though Lindsay and I are not financially linked, but we do share the upline, like, we're crossline. Yes. I say we're like cousins, under
like
Jenny.
So that for sure.
But where this is, and some of the things that Lindsay's talking about that I just love, and that you create more than 10. People think executive is 5 on the left, 5 on the right. You have one return go through, someone pushes out their auto ship, you can fall out of executive. And so having that security blanket, no, you're not saying anything. I'm the same way. With speed, we know that people have created 10 consultants in their Isagenix career, but if you do 2 in January, they're inactive by the ones in April that come along. Yes. And that you just never stop. So there are people that I don't have to worry about, like, Laura doesn't have to worry that Lindsay's ever going to fall out of consultant status, right? That she's ever not going to have her too. She doesn't have to worry about that one. But, I created a couple new consultants earlier this summer that maybe they stopped ordering through the husband's account, or, they didn't really love the products, and that's okay. But I created a new one 2 weeks ago. It's like you just kind of never stop doing those things. So I'm loving everything you're sharing. So one of the
And real quick, Lauren, I also want to say, I want you guys to celebrate your consultants. I had a gal on Instagram, she's another associate in Isagenix, asked me after I made a consultant post one day, oh, do you post about your consultants? Maybe I should do that. And I'm like, oh my landy, yes. You need to celebrate what you want more of. So if you want more consultants in your organization, maybe you don't want to make a post on your profile on Instagram, but maybe you put it in your stories and you blast it all over your team pages. And that is a rank worthy of celebration. It truly is. And so I hope that you're never keeping that quiet and you just scream it from the rooftops amongst everyone in your life, because it makes people look and listen. So.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so true. I had a girl from the UK reach out to me from Instagram stories that she goes, all I know is I'm constantly seeing your team get paid. In the company I'm in, our team doesn't get paid. They don't even know necessarily if it's 5-cycle consultant manager. They just see that there's recognition on other people, and it's fun and it works hard. Without those consultants, you wouldn't be everywhere else. So let me just let you get into your goodness on time management, you guys. And I swear, I sometimes talk about, how do you do it with kids, or how do you do it if you work another job? And when you can literally hear from someone who has done it, who has worked 80 hours a week, who had 2 little kids, that was married, that worked out all the time, figure out how to make $1 million in this business, almost annually, not just residually, that, like, it's a blessing to have you on here. So I'm going to mute and just let you do your things.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And you guys, I will promise I'll respect your time. Give me 10 minutes. We'll just blast through this. I was chatting with Lauren earlier, and I'm going to show you, I have it's like a 5-slide PowerPoint, but I'm going to go ahead and show it because that will allow you to take any screenshots or photos if you want. So let's dial this in. Can everybody see that okay? Oh wait, that's not the view I wanted necessarily, is that? Hold on. Gary said I'm going to honor your time. And okay, perfect. Okay, can everyone see that okay? Thumbs up. Sweet. So time management. Listen, I can give you guys all the books in the world to suggest for you to read and for you to get better at time. But at the end of the day, all of our lives are busy and all of our lives look just incrementally enough different that we need like some blanket topics or just a general path to go. Why I'm so passionate about time management is because I've done this business both with a full-time job and a career, and I've done it as just a full-time Isagenix employee. So I've lived both lives. So I get the privilege of speaking to what that looked like in both. So I hope I can touch on enough for each of the dynamics we have on this call right now and what your guys' day job or real lives look like. So in order to, I'm getting over the worst cold, I'm so sorry. In order to rewrite your schedule and understand how a little time management can go a long ways in your organization, I want you to be open. I want you to be open to letting go of some activities we might talk about or hobbies or things that aren't serving your business, your goals, or your future. I want you to be open to multitasking, perhaps in a greater way than you already are currently. And I certainly want you to be open to a new schedule. You guys, change is really hard for me. And it took me like a year to realize I can catch a different gym class. I don't have to so rigidly go to the same one every day or X, Y, and Z. So be more open than I was in the beginning to how I could manage my time. Now, I'm going to talk to first associates with another job. So that's any of you, part-time, full-time, in the home, out of the home, any of you that have another career outside of Isagenix right now. I want to speak to you for just a moment. I deem the 5 a.m. club the 5 a.m. club. Any of you that follow Robin Sharma would know the 5 a.m. club is just a concept of getting up earlier than you used to get up to get a whole lot of work done. But I want to insert here, your golden hour might be 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night, and you might truly be the 11 p.m. club. It doesn't have to be in the morning. The key is for this specific window of opportunity and this golden hour for you to be the time of day where you can be the most interrupted and the most focused. And I understand that there are many people that stay up a whole lot later than this girl does in this world. And so if 5 a.m. isn't for you and you're worthless at 5 a.m., that's okay. That just means that your hours must be in the evening and you got to find it, lock it, load it, and totally commit. And with that segues right into what I call my 30-30-30 plan. So the 30, you guys, just stands for minutes. And what this means is I figured out very quickly in private practice, I needed to have minutes in each day that were just my Isagenix business and nobody else's, not my daughter's, not my home, not my office, not my staff, not my patients, just mine. So I made a commitment to get up 30 minutes earlier in the morning. For me, that was 5 a.m. Spending my 30-minute lunch break. Some of you have an hour lunch break, but spending that window of opportunity exclusively on my Isagenix business. And then 30 minutes after my kids went to bed. That is completely reasonable amount of time and windows, I believe, in your day that we can all commit to Isagenix. The cool thing is that morning and evening window oftentimes can span into an hour or an hour and a half or even 2 hours on some days for you, depending on when your kids go to bed and when your kids wake in the morning or when day job starts and when day job ends in the evening. So if you add that up, that's a whole lot of hours in a week. Where if it's not scrolling Instagram, not getting lost in Facebook news feeds, but it's intentional work time, you'll get a whole lot done. Now, I have a lot of people raise their hands and say, hey, I don't have a lunch break. And I'm saying, well, that's illegal. Figure it out. Write it into your schedule. Have your office manager write it in, whatever it looks like for you. In those windows of time, especially my first year or two of building Isagenix, it was following up with prospects, scheduling business calls or three-way calls or product calls with prospects or new customers. It was doing my follow-ups, committing to happy hours and scheduling those types of events. Any number of things can be done in those windows. Now, this day and age, I think we could all agree that social media does play a big part in our specific line of work. So within that 30-minute window could be contacting people on Instagram that you need to follow up with. It could be intentionally watching the stories of your most hottest prospect right now. So you're building your Instagram relationship with them. It can still be social media if done in a really productive way. So that's what a great schedule looks like if you're really busy with a day job. And that's exactly the cadence and the rhythm, you guys, that I kept for that whole first year of full-time practice and building Isagenix. That cadence and that time was enough to build a six-figure organization. And I'll also preface this by saying my daughters were 12 months and 3 years when I started Isagenix. So little ones at home, which are a lot more hands-on and needy, if you will, than like the ages of my kids now at 6 and 8. So it's doable and it's possible, but it's being fierce about that time. Now, associates that are stay-at-home parents, if any of you are at the call or stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, and then you started Isogenics, it's important to recognize that you now have a job. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is the biggest fallout I see from most people is the longtime stay-at-home parent not realizing that, oh my gosh, I need to work now and you need time. That means you need some part-time childcare, or you need a mother's helper, or you need the 13-year-old next door to come help you for a couple hours a day. Whatever that might look like, if you're gonna run a business, you have to have time to operate that business. And if you're not willing to get childcare, maybe it's waking up at 4 a.m. or it's going to bed at 1 p.m. It's finding those windows outside of your children being awake. But it still is a 30-30-30 plan. Or maybe that looks like a 45-minute, 30-minute, and a 15-minute plan, captivating that nap time, the early bedtime, and whenever they rise in the morning. So you can weave this type of time management into anything. And honestly, this amount of hours, this 7.5 hours, so that's all that this is. If you add this up 5 days a week, 7.5 hours is the only thing that stands between you and something great. And if you can't commit 7.5 hours a week to building your dreams, your future, and what you want to give to your family, then what are you even doing in this industry? What are you even doing in Isogenics if this isn't the minimum amount of time you're willing to give? And that's all that it takes. You right now, 7.5 hours, something extraordinary happening in your life, week after week after week. So then we think, okay, what are we doing with all the other hours in a day? Right? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped over this, that you can mix and match. You guys, it doesn't always have to be 30-30-30. You can mix and match. It's just a commitment overall to that hour and a half on a daily basis that I really want you doing. And I want you to recognize what this commitment means and who is watching you. Your children are watching you. Your spouse is waiting for you to prove them right or prove them wrong. The naysayers in your life. Like, if for nothing else, if for no other reason, commit this managed time to your organization and growth of your income for all of the people that are thinking that you can't. And that can be such a powerful driving force. But here's what I want to, and I guess I left out the slide for this, but this is a big part of time management, is identifying and assessing your negotiables and your non-negotiables. Okay, so negotiables are something or activity or a hobby that you're doing right now that are not serving your business, your future, or your team. That could be watching TV. That could be Netflix marathons. That could be reading books for fun. That might be camping every weekend rather than camping every other weekend. But if you could, for me, write down your negotiables and be honest and raw with yourself, even your top 3 negotiables, then we can really start to weave those out of your everyday so that you can weave in more work time in your everyday. Just as important as your negotiables are your non-negotiables. So activities or hobbies or things that are so important to you and your well-being that even if they don't directly serve your business or your future or your team, they're still incredibly valuable for you. For me, that's working out. I'm sure that's one of Lauren's too. For me, that is our church activities and stuff on the weekends, on Sundays specifically. That is barring any big event that I need to be at or event, even a Super Saturday or whatever. That's my kids' soccer games. There are some things that are going to be non-negotiables, and that's okay, but why don't you identify them so you and your team and your mentor or your sponsor all are in agreement? And even more so, it's running that list of negotiables and non-negotiables over with your spouse or whoever you share your household with, and helping them see, like, listen, hubby, I'm going to watch 30 minutes of TV with you every night, but I'm not going to watch an hour and a half with you anymore, or that football game anymore. I'm going to snuggle up next to you for 30 minutes, but then I'm going to tiptoe over to my card table or my office and get some work done. And having that dialogue and that communication is really important. But you might be surprised at who supports you within all of that too. Or you might have your kids say, Mommy, this is a non-negotiable, or X, Y, and Z. So that to me is an important action item in writing your schedule and in completely managing your time. And then it's learning to work around your non-negotiable. So I schedule my workout classes, whatever it looks like, first during the week. And then I build all my appointments, my coffee dates, my webinars, my calls around that non-negotiable, right? So that's a great way to weave in your time and effectively manage. And then start to really fiercely get rid of, you guys, I don't miss TV. We haven't had cable for 5 years. We got rid of it right when I started Isogenics, and I don't miss it one single bit. I couldn't even tell you who's famous anymore, what shows are in, what shows are out. Doesn't even matter. It didn't serve my business, my future, or what I wanted for my family, so it was easy to let go of. And then I want you to live life very intentionally. And by that, I mean Do things with a purpose, or a two birds, one stone type of analogy. So go to the workout classes and the fitness groups of people who you want in your organization and people who you like spending time with. Get to the networking group that happens the third Thursday of every month and go intentionally, repeatedly, so you start to build upon those relationships. I literally listen to podcasts or play Marco Polos for my business builders while I'm in the shower. And I have a magnet, you know those magnets we put on our cars to stick our phone to our cars? I have one on my bathroom mirror, so my phone can sit there while I'm putting on my makeup or curling my hair. I can be talking to my team members or playing a podcast or watching, like today I watched the Isogenics Business Facebook group, ISO Life Success Plan recording while I was getting ready this morning. So if you start to do things with a deep intention, you begin to multitask really well, but you're killing a lot of birds with one stone. And to me, that is ultimate entrepreneurship. That is ultimate growth. And that's just ultimate commitment. I mean, listen to podcasts while you brush your teeth. Get a great Bluetooth and make sure while you're folding laundry, you only do it while you're on a three-way call. I will only unload the dishwasher if I'm on the phone. My husband knows if he gets home at the end of the night and the dishwasher's still full, I didn't have any calls that day and I haven't gotten to yet, because I'm not going to spend 10 minutes doing that when I could be serving my team or others or my business. So you see how you can get really good at being intentional, and that's just a deeper level of time management. And I hope that for all of you, even if you make one small change a day, I sincerely hope that for each of you. So I hope that a little bit of just that 30-30-30 plan and deciding what you're going to commit to and what you're just not willing to is worth it. But again, if you can't commit that level of time to your business, and I don't know what we're all doing here at the end of the day, and you can say that to your team members and you can say that to people.
I love it. Thank you so much, you guys. And I had a little sneak preview. I saw Lindsay do this on Trudy's call a couple weeks ago. And she's like, what do you want me to talk about? And I was like, that. Like, that was so good. And it's just so relatable. And I even love how you break it down with, if you have a full-time job or if you're doing this from home and some of those boundaries. And I honestly, so many of the things that you just said, I can tell you that was the shift in my business, especially early on. And not that I had Lindsay as an amazing trainer. I actually joined the company 1 year before her, and I've watched her just soar through the ranks, but was that. And I remember Kathy Cooper at my very first event with the 90-day game plan saying, what are you willing to give up? And this school sounds so silly for you guys, but for me, it was fantasy football. Like, I'm very competitive and I love football. And I was like, that's a lot of time I watch on Sundays in front of the TV, plus studying my lineup. I was like, I'm going to go with that. But she's asking, like, where can you delegate? And I remember as I was starting to grow, Kathy saying, what activity can you hire out that you can make more money during? And I was like, what? Like, I don't need to hire someone. I was like, independent, I can do it myself. And she said, what about a house cleaner? And I thought, I have a 1-bedroom apartment. Like, I don't need a house cleaner. And she said, well, how long does it take you to clean your apartment? And I was like, I don't know, like 2, maybe 3 hours. She was like, well, how much would it cost you to pay someone? I was like, probably $50, $100. She goes,
it's not much.
More than 50 or 100. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get a house cleaner. And then there was always this goal that if someone was going to come in and clean my house, I had to, like, pay forward a premium pack or a value pack. And this mindset around it. But I would love you guys. I'm going to just put this challenge out there. Any single person that private messages me, the non-negotiable that they are not willing to give up, like just something like, I'm not giving up my Bible study. I'm not giving up my kids' soccer game. I'm not, like, the number one, like, this is like something that has to do, but also the thing you are willing to give up. I'm going to give up football games. I'm going to give up happy hour. I'm going to give up my facial this month, or whatever it is, saying like, this is the time I could put into my business. Those short-term sacrifices, like, if those long-term results are so huge, you guys. I just remember Emily Baver always saying, do you know how many Taco Tuesdays I gave up for Timeout Tuesday? And all these people that laughed at her, and now she makes more than 7 figures a year because she decided to host her own Timeout Tuesday instead of Taco Tuesday. Like, that's where that came from. Look at her life now. I mean, how many people that are like, oh, we probably should have gone to her event instead of tacos, right?
Instead of tacos. She can have all the tacos she wants now. See? See how that works?
So if you guys send me your non-negotiable, something you are willing to give up, you think is really going to help your business, in a screenshot of your calendar, just like Lindsay said, like, put your workouts in there first, kids activity, building in your 30-30. I'm going to enter you for a drawing, a birthday cake. Birthday cake I'm going to enter a drawing for, and a $50 cash Visa gift card. So
you're going to get mine too.
What?
You're going to get mine. I want in on that drawing.
See, she's like, wait, birthday cake still has birthday cake.
With that, and what a great idea. What you're asking everyone to do is just evaluating your schedule and looking to see if it's populated with all the wrong things or if it's populated with all of the right things. And that is just the next step in being a business owner that we don't even think about doing in the beginning. And if any of you are brand new to the organization or on this call, this certainly isn't a thought process you've had yet. But is it populated with the right things to serve your future, your family, your team, and your business, or is it populated with all the wrong things? Those minutes and those hours, those days, we can't ever get back. So,
you know, and even one other layer of that, then the right or the wrong thing is like, where's the best worth of your time? Like, oh, I remember when I was still teaching like 15 spin classes a week. And I was like, I make $12 to $15 to teach this class. At some point, I had to trust that I could make more money getting 2 value packs and that Thursday night than teaching a spin class. And so just knowing your worth, like that's not, it was a bad use of my time. It just wasn't what I was worth. And I could help a limited amount of people, not an unlimited amount of people. So
that's
Lindsay,
so
thank
true.
you. I'm gonna unmute so they can all just send like some love to you because you're amazing.
Guys, I'm sorry. It's so long.
Thank you.
Sorry it's so late.
Please give Lindsay love.
Such beautiful, attentive.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Go enjoy those kiddos. Give Corey a hug. You guys, thank you so much.
You.
Don't miss the AMP Live tomorrow. You want to get on that
you
and
guys.
share all your athlete friends about the
Even
product.
wait. What a beautiful week. Thank you guys. I'm going to hop off.
Bye
God bless
guys.
you all.
Good night.